Hey y'all, it's AJ here and I am back with another video. This time it's gonna be a Q&A about me being a paperless student. So many of y'all asked me some questions which I am going to address in this video. I wanted to wait until now to make this video since I've just started my next year recently. I want to tell you all about if I'm still a paperless student this year. I also wanted to talk about if my new teachers are acceptable of me using no paper and using my iPad. So in this video, I'll be addressing all of your questions as well as some that I cooked up myself and that my friends have cooked up, just so I can have a wide variety of questions answered in this video. So if you haven't checked out my paperless student video, if you haven't checked out my first video about just me being a paperless student and me talking about it, I suggest you go watch that first so you can know a good perspective of where I am coming from with this. Hope that makes sense. So just to recall, I'm using 12.9-inch iPad Pro, second generation still good, with an Apple Pencil and the keyboard. So yeah, without further ado, let me answer all of your questions. So the first question is there a process on becoming a paperless student? So when I first transitioned into becoming a paperless student, I saw that there was a process with this. So I did have to get used to all the features of the app that I've been using. I've been using Notability. This is what the icon looks like if you're wondering. Transitioning into becoming a paperless student was not difficult, not easy. It's because you just have to learn how to A, use the app, B, I guess get used to writing it digitally. It doesn't really sound that complicated, but in some ways it is. Trust me. Also, with becoming a paperless student, you do have to notify your teachers that you will be using electronics to take your notes. Well, that's what my experience was. I did have to tell my teachers about it. And yeah, I think that's the whole process of becoming a paperless student. It gets really easy afterwards when you get used to it and you find it really convenient, and that's what I found for myself. Next question. Did you need to speak to the school or have a meeting? I personally did not have to have a meeting to becoming a paperless student. I guess you can just say that all my teachers were cool about it. Entering grade 12, all my teachers are cool about it, so that's a good part on my end. And then this ties into if I spoke to the principal, and no, I did not, because the teachers were just cool about it. They're like, okay, just you do you take notes on your work on however you want to do it, on paper, digitally. Yeah, so that's cool. That was really cool. Could this work with the MacBook Air? Well, it depends on what type of paperless student you want to be. If you want to write notes, you're gonna have to go with something like an iPad, since you're gonna obviously write the notes. For the MacBook Air, you're gonna have to type out all of your notes. I guess you could say it does work, but you would have to type all your notes instead of write them. So I don't know, in my opinion, I feel like in my school they only have an exception to iPads because you actually write your notes instead of type them. Oh wait, that didn't make sense. When it comes to post-secondary, so university and college, I guess you can use the MacBook Air since you're just typing, you know. But for high school, it's more hands-on stuff. So I personally recommend writing down your notes for high school, but that's just my opinion. And so you could definitely use a MacBook Air, but personally, that's not something that I would go to. Next question, how is it possible legally? It depends on the laws that are part of where you live. I know that from where I live now, I'm pretty sure like cell phones are banned in schools. So that's I don't know if that'll affect me. I don't know if it won't, who knows, but I still use my iPad for school. I still like it, so I don't know. Not sure where this is all going to go. Next question. Am I a full-time paperless student? Percentage-wise, I would say I am about a 90% paperless student. What I do on my iPad is I take my notes for tests, for lessons. I do my math homework on this. But when it comes to me writing on paper, I would write on paper. If my teacher says that we do have to hand in the homework, I would have to write it on paper. I could do my homework on this and just print it, but I just feel like writing would just be more convenience in that situation. I try to be paperless as much as possible, and yeah, so I do still use paper. Next question, where do you keep your tests and quizzes? I still have binders for all my classes. That's where I keep all my tests and quizzes, and in there I also have extra paper for when I have to hand in something handwritten to my teacher, you know? So even though I do have binders in my bag, it's not as cluttery as other binders since I do use the iPad a lot for my notes. So that's a good part on my end. Next question, what do you carry in your bag? So of course I have to carry my iPad, the smart keyboard, and the Apple Pencil, my book that I read, and also my 3 binders for my 3 classes this semester. Next question, what app can I use to take notes? So I did address this in the last video, but let me address it again. So I use Notability. It's a really good app, even though it is on the pricey side, I'm not gonna lie. It is a good app. I enjoy writing my notes on it. It automatically backs up all of my notes into my Google Drive and my iCloud. So I can access it on my phone, on my laptop. It'll all be there, which is really cool. I also got my teachers on it, so they got the app too. Yay! Everybody be using Notability, so that's good. If you are becoming a paperless student, I do recommend getting this app. So in my last video, I did talk about Notability. If you haven't checked that out, go check it out. I talked about the app and some of its features in a nutshell. They're adding more features as time passes, so that's really cool. So all those features that I talked about, that's just a little part, and now they're expanding, which is really cool, and I can't wait to see all the latest versions of Notability. Next question, how do you organize your notes without paper? Okay, so I'm gonna show you just a little snippet. So right here is what the Notability app looks like. What I do to organize my notes is they have these things called dividers, and in the dividers I name all of my course codes corresponding to the class, of course. So inside I have subjects, and within those subjects I have math notes or math worksheets, math textbook, and then inside those are my notes. So it's really organized, you could say, and it's really easy to access all of your notes like that. And last but finally not least, what devices can I use to take notes without paper? So you're probably tired when I say this, but of course you can use the iPad Pro. Apple has recently come out with new iPads, like the iPad Air, the new 10.2-inch iPad from this date, the iPad Mini, and all of these iPads support the first generation Apple Pencil. So I would recommend getting an iPad to be a paperless student. You could use a laptop or like a MacBook, but I would prefer writing my notes, and I also like the addition of typing my notes. You do get the best of both worlds if you do go with iPads. With the new iPad Pro, it would be more convenient just because the Apple Pencil could snap onto it like that. But if you're looking for something on the lower end, something cheaper, just take notes, you don't really care about getting all the features like Face ID and you just want Touch ID, you could go for the lower end iPads like the 10.2-inch iPad. That's what I would definitely recommend. And yeah, I think that's all that I have for the video. I want to keep this video short and sweet so I can answer all your questions. If you do have any more questions, please let me know in the comments down below and I'll answer them as soon as possible. I also want to apologize for my list. I do have my Invisaligns, but that's far from the case. If you want to check more of my videos, the playlist is down below. I also have a playlist with my best friend MJ. She has a playlist. Go check out her videos. Her videos are really cool. I love her latest video, which was the iPhone 10 unboxing. That was good on her part, yeah. Also check out our videos together, Those Who Wins playlist down below. And that's all I gotta say. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. This has been AJ, and I am signing off. Bye guys.